If you're watching this, hit that subscribe button and tell me where you're tuning in from. I'm Elaine Harper, 70 years old, retired literature professor, accidental YouTuber, and, until recently, a hopeless romantic. I met Henry Dalton at the county library 5 years ago. We were both widowed. Both spent more time reading than socializing. Both had learned to live in the quiet. He quoted Emily Dickinson. I laughed too loudly at his Byron impressions. 3 months later, we were inseparable. At 67, I didn't think love could surprise me again. I didn't expect butterflies or sweaty palms. But I got something better: consistency. Sunday walks, shared crossword puzzles, morning tea in bed. Love didn't need to be loud. It could be quiet and still be real, or so I thought. Last Tuesday began like any other. Henry left early for his Tuesday tennis game. He always called it that, even though most of the men barely moved enough to break a sweat. He kissed my cheek, promised to bring me fresh lavender from the farmer's market. Then he was gone. I wandered into the bathroom to clean up. That's when I saw it, a long auburn hair curled against the porcelain sink like a scarlet thread of betrayal. I'm gray, have been for 20 years. Henry's late wife Beatrice had jet black curls. And Henry barely had hair left to shed. I plucked the strand between 2 fingers and stared at it, as if it might confess its origin if I squinted hard enough. I knew immediately who it belonged to: Marian Ellis, my neighbor, widow, 65, and recently sporting a fresh auburn dye job that had half the retirement community whispering. She also played piano at the senior center, volunteered with Henry at the community garden, and had once baked him a rhubarb pie so good he mentioned it for a week. I had felt the shift before this. The way Henry lingered outside during his phone calls. The way he suddenly cared about using cologne again. The new socks. The upgraded cell phone. Subtle signs. But women my age don't miss subtle signs. I sat at the kitchen table and pulled out the crossword. 5 across. A sudden betrayal. I smirked. Infidelity. Too many letters. But close enough. That afternoon, I visited the pharmacy. Bought the strongest depilatory cream they sold. The kind marketed toward stubborn areas. I returned home, unscrewed Henry's expensive tea tree shampoo, and poured half down the drain. I replaced it with the cream, shook the bottle, and set it back in its usual spot. Then I waited. Wednesday morning. Henry showered, whistling the same Sinatra song he always did when he was in a good mood. When he emerged, his hair looked the same. I wasn't discouraged. These things took time. At dinner, he was unusually chipper. Ran into Marian at the garden, he said, slicing into his meatloaf. She's organizing a classical music night. Wants me to help with the wine list. I smiled sweetly. Of course she does. You've always had great taste. In wine. He didn't catch it. He rarely did. But then again, he'd never needed to. Thursday. Henry showered again. This time, longer. I heard muffled curses through the bathroom door. A few minutes later, he emerged wearing a towel in confusion. My scalp itches, he muttered. Shampoo must be expired. Oh, don't be silly, I said, peering over my glasses. You just bought it last month. Maybe it's stress. I read somewhere that guilt causes skin irritation. His eyes flicked to mine, uncertain, then away. Friday. By now, Henry's thinning hair looked like a patchy lawn in winter. Sparse in places, downright bald in others. He panicked. Elaine, something's wrong with my hair. Hair is fleeting, I said, folding laundry. But character? That lasts forever. He stared at me like I was speaking in riddles. I almost laughed. I told him Marian had invited us both over for tea Sunday afternoon. She said she has some news. He paled. Sunday afternoon. Marian's house. Her table was set like something out of a home magazine. Lavender scones, lemon tea, embroidered napkins. She wore a silky blouse and fresh lipstick. The same auburn waves curled around her shoulders. Henry wore a hat. Elaine, Henry, she said too brightly. Come in. I was just about to serve. I sipped my tea slowly. Marian, this is lovely. You've gone all out. Well, it's not every day I have dear friends over, she said, flushing. And I do have a little announcement. Henry shifted beside me, gripping his mug like it might save him. I've decided to move, Marian said, beaming. A small place outside Santa Fe. My sister lives nearby. It's time for a change. Oh, I said, eyebrows raised. How sudden? I've been thinking about it for weeks, she said. Sometimes life offers you new beginnings. Henry choked on his tea. I leaned over, patted his back. Careful, dear. Sudden surprises can be jarring. That night, he confessed, sort of. It didn't mean anything, he said. Marian was just company. You were always working on your book. Distracted. I stared at him. So you distracted yourself with her? Like a hobby? He rubbed his scalp. I made a mistake. No, I said. You made a series of decisions. Mistakes are typos. You had an affair. He started to speak, but I held up my hand. I packed your things. They're on the porch. You have until morning. 3 days later, Henry showed up again. Hair worse than ever. Tufts missing. Like a defeated clown. I miss you, he said simply. I opened the door. Let him in. Let him talk. When he finished, I poured us both a drink. You wanted to feel young, I said. You thought Marian's hair and perfume and silly little scones made you feel that way. But you forgot that youth is not about hair or perfume. It's about honesty. It's about integrity. He said nothing. I raised my glass. To second chances? I said. He smiled. But not yours. 6 months later, I published my first book, The Lavender Hour, A Widow's Guide to Revenge and Reinvention. It hit the retirement book club circuit like wildfire. Apparently, betrayal knows no age limit, and neither does recovery. Henry moved away. Marian, too, eventually. I donated his old shampoo bottle, still half full of hair remover, to the local drama troupe. Fitting, really, me? I started ballroom dancing, met a lovely retired dentist named Charles who reads Virginia Woolf and makes the best tiramisu I've ever tasted. He calls me Trouble in Pearls. And I don't mind one bit.